Hi guys, so I have a book haul for you. I ordered with my birthday money from thriftbooks.com. I'll put the link down in the description bar. I didn't want to do any beauty products because I pretty much have a lot of makeup right now and I don't need any more, so I decided to go ahead and do books. So let's just jump into it. I have 9 books, 13 books. Or 12 books. Whatever. I have tons of books to show you. So let's go ahead and get started. First 4 books all go together. And I have 2 copies of this first book, and that is The Hobbit. So let me talk to you why I have 2 copies here. I got my copy. This is the first copy I got. And you know, it looks pretty okay on the outside and whatnot. Because Thrift Books is basically just like an online thrift store for books. So they're all used copies, okay? So when I first got this isn't the copy I wanted. I didn't want this copy, this cover, so I was upset about that. And then when I looked in the inside, there was highlighting and wording written all over it, and the back cover was damaged. So I went ahead and messaged Thrift Books online, and they had actually sent me a new copy, and this is the copy that I wanted. So I was pretty happy that I got this copy. The only damage to it is there's somebody's name written inside there, which is okay. That doesn't bother me. And it's a little bent on the back, but not bad. For this site, they're really cheap books. Since they are used, but they are in pretty good condition. They do tell you the condition of the book, so you know, you'll know what the condition is, and if they're in bad condition, message them and they'll send you a copy totally free, and you can keep this copy. So I have this copy and not sure what I'm gonna do with it. Either give it to somebody or put it in thrift, or take it to a thrift shop or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So anyways, I have 2 copies of that. And this is, I don't know if I said what it was. This is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And pretty much this is the story of Bilbo Baggins and how he wants to pretty much be left alone and not bothered. And so Gandalf, the wizard guy, he comes and pretty much has all these dwarves that are homeless end up at Bilbo Baggins' house, and then they go on a journey to defeat somebody. I can't remember who it is, because to get their land back or something like that. So basically it's just his tale and whatnot, and how he finds the ring that shows up in the other book. So I'll read the back to you. It says, Bilbo Baggins was a hobbit who wanted to be left alone in quiet comfort, but the wizard Gandalf came along with a band of homeless dwarves. Soon Bilbo was drawn to their quest, facing evil orcs, savage wolves, giant spiders, and worse unknown dangers. Finally, it was Bilbo, alone and unaided, who had to confront the great dragon Smaug, the terror of the entire countryside. So yeah, just a little story about Bilbo Baggins and stuff. I read this in English class. We always had to read my teacher's favorite books, and this was one of them, so we read this. Just the other books here. Oh, and I want to say, don't watch the movie of The Hobbit. They didn't do a very good job on it. It was quite boring, actually. But the movie on the Lord of the Rings trilogy movies, they're actually pretty good. So I recommend watching those as well. And I've seen all 3 of these movies. I have them, but I have never read the books. So I thought I would read the books. So the first one here is The Fellowship of the Ring. And as you can see, there is minimal damage to this thing. There is that sticker that's here. The binding is actually pretty okay. It's been read once. There is a line down it, or a couple times, and it's kind of coming undone in the middle, but it's actually not in bad condition. So anyways, I'll read the back to you. It says, in ancient times, the Ring of the Power was crafted by the elven smiths, and Sauron, the Dark Lord, forged the ring, filling it with its own power so that it could be ruled by others, could rule all others. The One Ring was taken from him, and though he sought it through out Middle-earth, it remained lost to him. After many ages, it fell in the hands of Bilbo Baggins, as told in The Hobbit. In a sleepy village in the Shire, young Frodo Baggins finds himself faced with an immense task, as his elderly cousin Bilbo entrusts the ring to his care. Frodo must leave his home and make a perilous journey across Middle-earth to the Cracks of Doom, there to destroy the ring and foil the Dark Lord in his evil purpose. Second book here is The Two Towers. Again, minimal damage. There's a little bit of damage on the binding, but not much. And the third one, this is The Return of the King. And this has like no damage whatsoever. I don't even think anybody read it. There's no line down the middle to where the binding was, or the book was open. I mean, it looks like nobody has read this book. So for, $9.49 for all three of these books, and this one probably never been read, is pretty good. Also a trilogy. I'm reading this one, and this one is the 50 Shades of Grey. This is the first book in the 50 Shades of Grey series. This is by E.L. James. This is pretty much an adult novel. I'm gonna say that right now. It's not for kids. It's very erotic, I guess you'd say. But I'm pretty much almost done with this book. This is all I have left to read. I have 2 chapters left, and then I am done. But basically, this girl goes and interviews Christian Grey, and they pretty much fall for each other. And the more she gets to know about Christian Grey, the more she finds out about him and his past and the secret that he has. Back to you. When literature student Anastasia Steele goes to interview young entrepreneur Christian Grey, she encounters a man who is beautiful, brilliant, and intimidating. The unworldly, innocent Anna is startled to realize she wants this man. And despite his enigmatic reserve, finds she is desperate to get close to him. Unable to resist Anna's quiet beauty, wit, and independent spirit, Grey admits he wants her to, but on his own terms. Shocked yet thrilled by Grey's singular erotic tastes, Anna hesitates. For all the trappings of success, his multinational businesses, his vast wealth, his loving family, Grey is a man tormented by demons and consumed by the need to control. When the couple embarks on a daring, passionately physical affair, Anna discovers Christian Grey's secrets and explores her own dark desires. So I really love this book. A lot of people said they didn't like it. They didn't like E.L. James's writing, how it wasn't really going anywhere. I haven't finished the book, but so far I really like it. I think it's a pretty good book. Despite that it's an erotic romance, the other parts are good as well. And then I got the other 2 stories to go with it, which is 50 Shades Darker. I'm not going to read you the back because I have not got to it yet. So, and again, this one looks like it has never been read. The first one's a little used, you can tell, but the second one looks like it hasn't really been read at all. Same with this third one, and that's 50 Shades Freed. It's a little bent on the top, but that looks like it was just damaged, like maybe sitting on the shelf or something. So I cannot wait to get to these. Since the first one is so good, I'm hoping the second ones are just as good. Okay, this next book here, these next 2 books go together. They're not in a series or anything like that. They just go hand in hand together. You could read one before you read the other. You don't have to read them in any particular order. I've never heard about this book or anything like that, but it's called Good in Bed by Jennifer. I want to say it's Weiner. It looks like Weiner, or it could be Weiner. I'm not sure, but there's the spelling of it. I was just looking for some novels. I don't know why I chose these ones. I guess I only had so much left on my gift card, so these ones were the cheapest maybe. But it sounds actually pretty good. I'll read the back to you. It says, for 28 years, things have been tripping along nicely for Canny Shapiro. Sure, her mother has come out charging out of the closet, and her father has long since dropped out of the world. But she loves her friends, her rat terrier Nafikin, and her job as a pop culture reporter for the Philadelphia Examiner. She's even made a tenuous peace with her plus-size body. But the day she opens up a national women's magazine and sees the words "loving a larger woman" above her ex-boyfriend's byline, Connie is plunged into misery and the most amazing year of her life. From Philadelphia to Hollywood and back home again, she charts a new course for herself, mourning her losses, facing her past, and figuring out who she is and who she can become. So it sounds actually pretty good. I don't know. It's a pretty big book as well. I don't think I have any short stories in here, maybe one. But yeah, it sounds pretty good, and I can't wait to read it. So the book that goes with it, I also got damaged. So I have another copy of this as well. It's bent here. Other than that, it was actually in pretty good shape, but I was pretty mad that the cover was damaged. So I messaged them to get me another copy. So I have a copy of The Hobbit and Certain Girls, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. So, but anyways, like I said, this is Certain Girls, again, by Jennifer Weiner, whatever. And basically, this is a continuous of that novel, as I was saying. And this one's definitely in a lot better shape than that novel was. The cover's a little bit bent, but it's not actually bad. I was pretty happy with this. The only thing I noticed is the back picture is different. You can see there. It's the same person, but her back picture is different, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyways, so I'll read you the back of this. It says, after the fictionalized version of her life became an overnight bestseller, the lovable, smart-tongued, big-hearted Canny Shapiro dropped out of the public eye and settled into a wonderfully predictable life, knitting in front row of her daughter Joy's drama rehearsals, volunteering at the library, and taking over 40 yoga classes with her best friend Samantha. She's happily married to a tall, charming diet doctor, Peter Krushelvolinsky. Yeah, it's one of those names. And as preparations for Joy's bar mitzvah began, everything seems right in Canny's world. Then Peter surprises his wife by saying he wants to have a baby. And Joy finds the novel Canny wrote years before, a discovery that sends both mother and daughter on journeys, romantic and personal, to places they never imagined they'd go. Touchingly funny and tender, with Weiner's whip-smart dialogue and sharp observations of modern life, Certain Girls is an unforgettable story of love, loss, and daughter's search for the truth about her family. So this one sounds good as well. Kind of like a mother-daughter novel, so I can't wait to read that. Next book I have read also. I read it in high school. I just read it on my own, but this is called A Million Little Pieces by James Fry. I really love this book. Like I said, I read it on my own. I didn't have to do it for English, didn't have to do a book report on it. But basically this guy, James Fry, or Frey, I call him Fry. I think it's James Frey. Frey, whatever. Anyways, he had basically gotten himself beat up. His teeth were knocked out, his nose was broken, and he ended up on a plane, and they told him that he could either go to rehab and get better, or they would let him go and he could die before he was 24 years old. And so he chose rehab, and this is his journey throughout rehab, and it's very disturbing in some parts. You know, he tells about everything. You know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in rehab. And so he tells about his journey in rehab. And I know this was on Oprah's book club or Oprah's book list, but then they had a controversy over it, saying that he didn't actually go through rehab, that he made it all up. But if he made it up or if it's the truth, either way, this is a good book. So I'll read the back to you. It says, at age 23, James Fry woke up on a plane to find his front teeth knocked out and his nose broken. He had no idea where the plane was headed nor any recollection of the past 2 weeks. An alcoholic for 10 years and a crack addict for 3, he checked into a treatment facility shortly after landing. There he was told he could either stop using or die before he reached 24. This is Fry's acclaimed account of his 6 weeks in rehab. So, yeah, I loved this book. I highly recommend it. It's just an amazing book, and I really loved it. So I had to get it and put it on my shelf. I just had to have it for my shelves. So this next book is a classic. This is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I read this in English class, and as most books in English class, in high school I'm still like that, but I'm getting better. But I hardly remember what I read. Sometimes I can't remember what I read. But in high school, I never wanted to really read books unless I wanted to read them on my own terms. And so this is one of those books that I read that I don't remember much of it. I remember some characters in it, and that's about it. And in high school, though, I remember liking it. So there's probably parts in here that I will remember as I'm reading. But yes, book. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I actually had 13 books, guys. So this last book is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I read this in high school as well, but I read it on my own. And I really fell in love with this book. Well, not fall in love with it, but I really liked it. Even though it's a tragedy, it's a very sad book, I actually liked it. And, you know, I always see on book reviews people talking about how they like to read about the Holocaust and they enjoy it, but then they go on and say, well, it was a horrible time, but I still liked it. I'm like that too. The Holocaust was very horrible, and although they make for good books. How horrible does that sound? But basically, this is just Anne Frank's diary. As you can see, there is diary entries in there. There's one. This is just her recollection of being not captured, but being out in hiding while the Holocaust was going on. So I'll just read the back to you. It says, discovered in the attic in which she spent the last years of her life, Anne Frank's remarkable diary has since become a world classic, a powerful reminder of the horrors of war and an eloquent testament to the human spirit. In 1942, with Nazis occupying Holland, a 13-year-old Jewish girl and her family fled their home in Amsterdam and went into hiding. For the next 2 years, until their whereabouts were betrayed by the Gestapo, they and another family lived cloistered in a secret annex of an old office building. Cut off from the outside world, they faced hunger, boredom, the constant cruelties of living in confined quarters, and the ever-present threat of discovery and death. In her diary, Anne Frank recorded vivid impressions of her experiences during this period. The account offers a fascinating commentary on human courage and frailty, and a compelling self-portrait of a sensitive and spirited young woman whose promise was tragically cut short. So, and it is very graphic. I don't think there's any details that she ever left out of her book, and or of her diary. And this irks me though. I bought this book I think for like $3 something, and the sticker on the back says $1.99. That was like very disheartening. I thought I was getting a good deal until I saw that. That's it for my book haul. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If you want to know about any of the books, feel free to ask that too. I'll answer them answer to the best of my knowledge. But I think that's it. Yep, my bag's empty. It was in this huge envelope. I'm actually very happy with thrift books. You know, they are well-loved and well-read books, but most of them are in pretty good condition, and I won't mind putting them on the shelves because I'm going to open them and read them anyways and put creases in them, and I wasn't bothered by it. I will order again from thriftbooks.com. Like I said, I'll list that down below, and yeah, so any questions, guys, feel free to ask them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Bye!